I opened my bank statement and realized I couldn't explain where $300 went. Not rent, not bills, not groceries. Just gone. That's when I decided to try a no-spend month. Not because I wanted to transform my life, not because a productivity influencer told me to, because I was tired of money disappearing in small, forgettable decisions. Spoiler, the month didn't change my life, but it exposed something I wasn't paying attention to. And that part mattered. My name is Paper Profit. I rent a one-bedroom apartment. I just wanted to understand where my money was quietly leaking. So I ran a 30-day experiment. And here's what actually happened. Before I started, I had to define the rules. Because no spend sounds simple until you try to define it. Does coffee count? I decided the rules like this. Fixed bills stay. Rent, utilities, phone subscriptions I already pay for. Groceries stay, but only actual groceries. No prepared food, no delivery. Everything else stops. No restaurants, no coffee shops, no Amazon, no impulse buys. Clean rules. I wrote them down. I felt ready. Week 1 almost broke me, and nothing dramatic even happened. Day 2, someone at work suggested grabbing lunch together. I said, I brought food. I had not brought food. I improvised with a granola bar from my desk. Day 4, I ran out of a specific shampoo I like. I stood in the aisle holding the shampoo for probably 3 minutes. Technically, it's a personal care item. I put it back. Used the backup bottle I found under the sink. Day 6, I got a notification that a jacket I had been watching was now 30% off. I closed the tab. Then I opened it again. Then I turned my phone face down. That jacket felt like a small psychological emergency. Here's what week 1 taught me. Most of my spending wasn't about need. It was about friction, convenience, a micro decision to not deal with something. Retail systems are designed to make spending the path of least resistance. The friction is always on the saving side, never the spending side. Week 2 is when the awkward part started. Not awkward with myself, awkward with other people. I want to be honest about this, because nobody talks about it. A friend texted asking if I wanted to grab drinks Friday. I said I was doing a no-spend month. Silence. Then, oh cool, good for you. That good for you had energy to it. Not mean energy. Like I had said something slightly uncomfortable at a dinner party. Another situation, someone at work was doing a food order and asked if I wanted in. I said no thanks, brought my own food. 3 people made a comment. None of them were mean. All of them were slightly pointed. Wow, very disciplined. I could never do that. Here's the thing about those comments. They're not really about me. They're about the fact that my behavior disrupted a social norm. In American daily life, spending is the default social lubricant. Going out to eat is how you spend time with people. When you opt out, it reads as slightly antisocial, even if that's not your intention. I am not complaining about my friends. I am just naming the system. Spending is baked into how we socialize, and that's not something a budgeting app is going to fix. Some friends might drift away. That is a real cost. Week 2, the financial picture started getting clearer. Halfway through the month, I looked at what I had not spent. Here's what I found. In a normal month, I was spending roughly $80 on coffee shops and cafe visits, about $120 on restaurants and takeout, about $60 on what I call small purchases. Things under $15 each that add up without feeling like spending. A candle here. A book I could have borrowed. A snack at the checkout. That's roughly $260 in 1 month, just from low-attention spending. Annualized, that's over $3,000 a year. That number sat with me for a while, because I wasn't broke. I wasn't reckless. I thought I was pretty reasonable with money. And yet, there it was, $3,000 a year quietly leaving my account. This only works if you have income to begin with. If you are broke, this experiment is useless. Week 3 is when the experiment got genuinely interesting, because by week 3, the urges slowed down. Not completely. The first 2 weeks, I had to actively stop myself from buying things. Week 3, I started to just not think about it as much. The mental energy required dropped. This matches what research on habit formation generally suggests. Around the 21-day mark, a new behavior starts to feel less like effort. It's not that I stopped wanting things. It's that the reflex to immediately act on wanting slowed down. There's a difference between wanting something and buying it within 48 hours. Most retail environments are designed to collapse that gap to zero. One-click purchase, same-day delivery, tap to pay. The faster you can act on a want, the less you evaluate whether it's actually a want. Friction is useful. I had artificially added friction back into my spending decisions. And by week 3, I noticed I was evaluating purchases differently. Not do I want this, but do I still want this in a week? That's a meaningful shift. Week 4, the final stretch. Honestly, week 4 was easy. Not because I had become a different person, just because the new default was established. I cooked most of my meals. I found that I had more food creativity than I expected. I texted friends and suggested free things. A walk, a park, watching something at home. Most of them said yes without any issue. Turns out the social friction I feared in week 2 was partially in my head. People are more flexible than I assumed. The bar hangout is the default suggestion, not the only option. But don't expect everyone to stick around long term. End of the month. Here are the actual numbers. In a normal month, my non-fixed spending averaged around $580. In my low-spend month, that number came down to roughly $210. That's groceries, gas, one genuine emergency purchase. The difference, $370 saved in 1 month. Not by cutting anything meaningful, not by suffering, by mostly just pausing before spending. Now here's the part I want to be careful about. Because this is where most no-spend month content goes wrong. A lot of people finish a no-spend month and immediately reverse it. They feel they've earned a reward. They splurge. The pent-up purchases all happen at once. And they end up right back where they started. Sometimes worse. That's the trap. The no-spend month was never the point. The point was to surface the patterns, the impulse purchases, the social spending, the convenience tax. Once you see the patterns, you can make conscious decisions about them. Not eliminate them, conscious decisions about them. Here's what I actually changed after the experiment. I kept the coffee shop budget, but I capped it at $30 a month. I still meet friends for coffee, just not every week. I added a 24-hour rule to any online purchase over $20. I put it in the cart, wait a day, see if I still care. About 40% of the time, I don't. I did a subscription audit. I had 2 services I had forgotten about, combined around $22 a month. I canceled both. I started a small fun money allowance, $50 a month that I can spend on literally anything. This sounds counterintuitive, but having a small dedicated spending allowance actually reduced my impulse spending elsewhere. The I shouldn't buy anything pressure was gone. So the grabby reflex calmed down. Net result, I'm spending roughly $180 to $200 less per month than I was before. Not $370. That was the low spend extreme. A sustainable middle version. That's around $2,000 a year, from small adjustments that don't feel like deprivation. The no-spend month is just you temporarily opting out of that and seeing what you actually think about without the noise. If you want to run your own version, here's what I'd suggest. Keep it simple. Pick your fixed costs, things that keep your life running. Everything else is optional for 30 days. Track every purchase you almost made but didn't. That list is as valuable as the savings. Build in a social plan. You will be invited somewhere, have 2 or 3 default responses ready that aren't awkward. I'm doing a no-spend thing is a complete sentence. Most people respect it. At the end of the month, don't reward yourself with a spending spree. Instead, look at the data, pick 2 or 3 things you want to change permanently. Keep everything else the same. And if you're wondering whether the jacket was still on sale at the end of the month, it wasn't. I checked, it was sold out. I did not feel bad about it. That was new. That's the real result of a no-spend month, not the number in your bank account. The slight but measurable shift in how much a sale notification can run your afternoon. That's paper profit. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment and I still have a lot to figure out. But I look at the numbers now.